business can survive without him?
Honestly, without Vince, I don't think it will.
The Triple H era will die and burn to pieces. The world of professional wrestling is defined by change. Over the decades, we've seen the rise and fall of many wrestling promotions and iconic eras. When Triple H took over from Vince McMahon in 2022, many fans saw this as the dawn of a new age. The wrestling world would be guided by a man with deep in-ring knowledge, respected by wrestlers and fans alike. As we move further into this era, there are mounting reasons to believe that the Triple H era might be on a collision course with disaster. Initially, Triple H's creative takeover was met with action-packed excitement. The infamous WrestleMania 40 and SummerSlam has been a huge success for him. Not only that, but storylines were more meaningful. The focus on developing characters was evident, and unutilized talents began receiving opportunities. However, one of the challenges in professional wrestling is not just creating compelling short-term stories, but maintaining creative momentum for years on end. This is where Triple H may struggle. We see this in the Judgment Day and Bloodline rivalries. Yes, they're interesting and fun, but they do tend to replicate each other. The group leader gets turned on by the group after a loss, and have constant interactions during Raw SmackDown, in which build up for a pay-per-view bout. Vince McMahon's success, despite his creative missteps, came from his ability to continually reinvent the product, keeping it fresh over the decades. The Triple H era, by contrast, seems to rely heavily on a set formula, leaning into long matches, slower builds, and rewarding hardcore fan interest, not to mention the lack of shock or plot twists. The recent matches and storylines have been somewhat predictable. While this is initially appealing, it risks the longevity of the WWE. Wrestling fans have notoriously short attention spans, and if the pace becomes too slow, the broader audience might lose interest. Moreover, there is a danger that Triple H's creative team could suffer from burnout. The sheer number of hours of programming WWE produces, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the premium live events, requires constant innovation. The creative decisions that seem refreshing today could feel repetitive in a few years. If Triple H doesn't find ways to evolve, stagnation will inevitably set in, leading to a sharp decline in ratings and audience interest. Another key problem facing the Triple H era is the demographic challenge. Under Vince McMahon, WWE's reach expanded well beyond traditional wrestling fans, capturing mainstream attention. Celebrities and athletes outside the wrestling world, like Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, and Tyson Fury, were integrated into major storylines, drawing in new viewers. While Triple H has maintained some of these connections, his creative focus remains heavily grounded in traditional wrestling superstars. WWE must find ways to attract younger viewers who may not have grown up with the product. So far, the Triple H era seems more focused on pleasing longtime wrestling fans, rather than expanding its reach. Perhaps the most significant threat to the longevity of the Triple H era is the shadow of Vince McMahon himself. Despite his brief departure, McMahon returned to WWE in early 2023 in an executive role, reportedly focused on helping facilitate the company's sale to Endeavor Group. While Triple H has retained creative control publicly, there have been rumors that Vince McMahon still exerts influence behind the scenes. The presence of McMahon, known for his dominant leadership style, could create friction within the company. If McMahon begins to nag in creative decisions again, it could undermine Triple H's authority, leading to a broken leadership. The conflicting visions of Triple H and Vince McMahon, who prioritize different storytelling approaches, could confuse audiences and harm the product. WWE is no longer the only major player in town. Since its competition was born in 2019, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, has emerged as a legitimate competitor to WWE. AEW has built a loyal following, presenting itself as the alternative to WWE's corporate style of wrestling. If AEW continues to gain momentum, it could leech off the very fans Triple H is relying on, those who prefer long-term storytelling and intense in-ring action. AEW, with its edgier content and greater creative freedom, is already appealing to a segment of the wrestling audience that WWE needs to retain. Not to mention the WWE legends AEW currently manages, such as Goldust, Jon Moxley, and Bryan Danielson. Triple H's ability to fend off this competition will be crucial. One of the burdens Triple H carries is the enormous weight of fan expectations. After Vince McMahon's decades-long reign, fans saw Triple H as the savior who could bring WWE back to its wrestling roots. Some fans want classic wrestling matches, others crave the larger-than-life spectacle. Do you think the Triple H era is going to crash, or will he fill the shoes of his father-in-law Vince McMahon? Leave it all in the comments below. I respond to every comment.